Okay, now it's my pleasure to share our latest Itron Resourcefulness Report. And this year, we're building on the study that we did last year around AI. And we explored the impact of data analytics, AI, and grid edge intelligence, and all the impact it's going to have, and in many instances are already having with utilities today. So as we explore these themes further, we're going to hear from two utility executives that are undergoing different AI projects or considerations, and I'm looking forward to getting their perspectives. But before we get to that, we've got a short video for you that is going to recap some of the findings. So Brian, let's play the video. All right. Well, now it's my pleasure to welcome two of your peers to the stage to talk about some of these key use cases. And I want to bring up Kristy Stone, who is the Chief Customer Officer at Duquesne Light, and Ron King, the Vice President of Operations and Maintenance for Peoples Natural Gas. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Yes, good to see you. I know you've been to a few Inspires, and now we've got you kind of in the hot seat, but let's have some fun with it. Let's explore a little bit about what you guys are doing or thinking about for AI. But before we go to that, why don't we hear a little bit about your utility? So Ron, let's start with you.
So we're Peoples Natural Gas in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. We are the largest LDC in the state of Pennsylvania, a subsidiary of the Central Utilities, have about 3,100 employees. Footprint is important for us.
Right.
Western PA, sitting on Marcellus and Utica Shale, neighbor of Kristy's over here. And we have a very robust pipeline replacement program. We do about 300 miles a year.
Wow. Great. Fantastic. I do want to say it's a very fortuitous coincidence that you're both in this, the neighbors practically, right?
Yes.
So, and so I think it's super interesting, this conversation, because how you guys are working together. So Kristy, let's talk about Duquesne Light.
Yep, we're just over the river from Ron and Peoples, and soon to be on the same side of the river. We're going to be relocating our headquarters just a few blocks right in Ron's neighborhood. So we share the same customer base and footprint. But Duquesne Light, it has a rich history. By the way, I am from Pittsburgh. The accent is via North Carolina, but I am a Pittsburgher. We're a 100-year-old company, a little more than 100 years, and we're an EDC. We have 600,000 customers and about 1,800 employees.
So as you saw from our latest research findings, there were 5 key use cases that people saw, or utilities saw, the most benefits from AI. And I'd like to discuss the use cases with you and see which ones really resonate with your organization and why. So Ron, let's start with you.
Yeah, for us at Peoples, safety is first and foremost for us as a natural gas utility. And our deployment of the Intellis meter with the pressure sensing capabilities allows us to be much more proactive in our response to anomalies. So that's why we're getting into it. That's morphed into some other things on the customer experience side as well. But it's been first and foremost safety for us.
Right. And then tell us a little bit for the folks out there who might not know about the Intellis meter, like what was the thing that really...
The thing that really sold us is the ability. Now, full transparency, we're not AMI yet. We're still AMR. But out of the box, the Intellis meter pressure sensing gives us the ability that at a certain set point of threshold, the meter shuts off.
Right.
So high flow situations, the meter automatically shuts off. That was a game changer for us.
Right.
I think historically, we've always told customers, you smell gas, call.
Right. And did they always?
No.
Yeah.
So this has changed. It's changed the game for us. We're currently in a pilot looking to go AMI using some of the meshing technology. We're going to get there, but we're going to be at about 100,000. I think in a few days now.
That's excellent.
A couple years.
Yeah, great to hear. Okay, and Kristy, what about you?
Well, just a couple bit more about Pittsburgh. Our area is very attractive to data centers. We have the land available. We have the talent because we have Carnegie Mellon that's there, as well as Pitt University, Duquesne University. I know Ron shares this same opportunity that I do with an influx of requests for data centers. And because of that, I thought I'd talk a little bit about how we're using demand forecasting as well as some increased electrification.
Right. How many data centers are you looking at right now? Or I should say hyperscalers, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a hyperscalers on the transmission side, and then there's the smaller data centers that are on the distribution side. But on the transmission side, as of yesterday, there were about 10, and that represents about 5 gigawatts of load.
Let's dig a little deeper into these stories, and perhaps, Ron, let's talk to you first about just how are you using AI today, and maybe there's some other use cases that you're thinking about or planning for.
Well, we're in the planning stages.
Right.
We're looking to use AI to be able to forecast. Kind of similar to demand forecasting, is more of forecasting anomalies, right? So if we can be able to figure out what before something happens, right, and we can roll the truck and address it. That's from an operations perspective. That's what we're doing. From more of a customer experience side, we're doing a lot of things. Using AI agents to have work with our customer service representatives to be able to answer questions more effectively and efficiently. We also use AI in some of our rate case proceedings.
Really?
Yeah, we actually are. We're starting to pilot that. I'm not as much familiar with that, but we are starting, using AI bots to be able to try to answer some of those long-standing questions we answer every year in rate cases. And also, to Kristy's point with data centers, we're going to start embedding that because we're also getting inquiries as well because of the need for 24/7 power.
Right.
Where we sit, we're in the perfect spot for it. So.
Right. So if you need more energy, you've got your neighbor.
I've got the neighbor, and we have the Marcellus Shale.
Yeah.
Under it.
So,
Yeah. So you were talking yesterday about some of the things that you're doing with AI and where you see things going for your organization. Do you want to share more of that?
Yeah, I mean, I could like pick something for each one of these areas because there's something going on in every area for us, whether it's safety and storm simulations or customer experience. We released a bot that helps our customers navigate the web so they self-service versus calling, creating an affordability opportunity for us. That we're partnering with Itron for the edge of the grid and AMI 2.0. That's an exciting opportunity for us because customer behaviors are changing, and we need to understand that for our demand forecasting. So what we're using AI for now is, and demand forecasting specifically, is around propensities. We also look at interconnection requests. We look at permitting requests, and that allows our team to plan better for not just now, but in the future for those reliability concerns that we have or customers have.
Right. Okay, so what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced? I mean, Lon, do you want to go first?
I would say change management and communication and fear of the unknown.
Okay.
I think it's important for us to I've been coined a term, start small but think big.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have some quick, easy wins when it comes to AI, so we can get our folks accustomed to it, and the fear of it's going to take my job or something like that. So that's how we're trying to address it. But you got to keep moving. You got to keep progressing, right? You got to, like I said, start small but think big.
So I just want to dig a little deeper on change management because people just go change management, but it's so hard, especially with AI, and people are threatened about their jobs and especially because it's going to be kind of a reverse, but in terms of knowledge workers. Having some issue with AI, but how do you get your team on board, and then
you cannot communicate enough at every step of the process.
Right. Yeah.
You have to overly communicate.
Right.
And you got to show the value it brings that workers' day-to-day activity.
Right.
You find things that help them get their task completed. In the rate case example, right? I mean, we all know, we all work for utilities here, how much time is spent working on a rate case. You have a tool that helps you get some of your time back for your daily duties. It's a win for you. And that's what we're trying to do to get our, before we move on to some of our bigger aspirations.
I would add the value proposition is really important for all stakeholders, whether it's customer, the owners, the PUC, employees. When you have, we had a project that we worked with, our Advanced Grid Solutions worked with Asset Management and Eversource, actually, who's here, to help us use failure rates and inspection data to help us develop a model that will allow us to understand the replacement of utility poles. And we were able to put that in our business plan. And when we were able to do that, our owners, we had the data to support the value that it was going to bring. And so they bought in. And then there's a check mark for AI-driven data decisions. And then the employees saw there was a method to the madness. It wasn't just a PUC requirement, check for employees. So all those little wins start to stack up and allow you to do even bigger and better things. They build on each other.
Right. Anything to add to that, Ron?
No, I just concur with what we're saying. I think for us, always, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes AI helps you with that, and some of the tools help you with that. We've had experiences where we thought Intellis was going to work a certain way, and then not to get too technical here, but we realized how water fluctuation in our low pressure system, how we didn't know that until we had that meter there, and it worked as it was designed, right? So it's working for us. Using data and living in the data is really working for us, and we just want to do more.
So, question for you, Kristy. You mentioned 10 data centers. I mean, can you just provide a landscape of what's happening in the country in terms of data centers?
Yeah.
And then who's paying for all these data?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in our state of Pennsylvania, we do not pass those costs to our customers. It is not in rate. We have a kayak tariff that the the hyperscalers have to pay for the cost of aid in construction. But that also presents a challenge, because when you get a request for a 500 megawatt data center and it's located in this area, you need to do a transmission study. And that transmission study is dependent on, because it's one big grid, there's a bunch of little grids in this big grid, and then that transmission study is dependent on another project that's going out in FE's territory. And so there's lots of things to consider, and it's a single queue. And so the speed to market is tough for transmission queues right now. So we're really, we're working hard, because we know that we need to beat others in the AI race. Like, there was an energy summit recently in Pittsburgh, in our backyard, and we agree that we need to help these data centers get in, because it creates competitiveness, and we want to be first.
Right. Excellent.
Look, it truly is a race to AI, and we're getting similar inquiries, and some of the inquiries are, they just want a data center, right? They don't,
Don't care how.
They don't know what proximity they are to pipe, so we're having to do so we actually have to sift through some of these inquiries to see what's actually realistic right now. But just for economies of scale, a data center a quarter of this room will become our biggest customer on day one. The type of energy they're asking for is I've never seen it before. They need 24/7 energy. And it could be DLC providing energy, us as the backup, or it could be vice versa, right? They want redundancy in that, and to ensure they have 24/7 energy. So that's why they're talking to both of us, to make sure that if the grid can't handle it, then we can handle it on the back end,
And they're not flinching at $200 million. You say, hey, this is before the RCO does their piece, or the RTO, sorry, does their piece in telling us, what we need for the larger grid. We're telling them, hey, this is going to look like, $200 million or a substation here. And they're like, okay, I'm ready. Sign the check.
Only question is always when. When can it happen?
Interesting.
And how fast?
How fast?
On the data centers, you had mentioned yesterday, I'm trying to think about the, it's going to come back to me. But let's talk about the data governance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, because that was a key challenge that we talked about.
Yeah.
Because this is happening, and it seems like there's so much momentum that I guess I'll come back to my head. There's so much momentum that the processes we have and the regulatory approvals, those kind of processes are obsolete. They don't apply. Like, it's not going to work. So what is your thinking? I know it's evolving. What's your thinking now around that governance piece and getting that regulatory approval?
Okay, we had a great conversation last night at dinner about this. I'll start with regulatory. Regulatory, when you're talking about capital investments, they don't think about software as being a capital investment. So, and when they think about AI, people think about AI as software or technology. So we need, and then the other challenge with regulatory is that there's an affordability challenge always, until there's a reliability challenge. And then reliability is number one and affordability is twice. So what we need to do is think about those things together. Safety's the table stakes. Safety's the table stakes. So that's something that always comes first. But if we have to think about affordability and reliability together, you cannot make them so uniquely different, because you're going to sacrifice one for the other if you do that. So that's on the regulatory side. On the data side, I saw a stat recently that about 50% of the utilities are concerned about data governance or data architecture. We have so much data that we need AI to be able to sort through the data and provide us the information. But we need the integrity of the data to be right as well. So we're struggling a little bit. Well, we have in the past, and we're learning how to go faster at getting that governance and that infrastructure in a safe way.
And that's one reason why we're moving so slow, right? It's mainly data governance for us. Like, we're rolling out things that are internal in our framework that we control. we have serious concerns about, some of our confidential information getting out there on an AI search for the world to see, right? So we're taking small steps to get there, but we're gonna keep moving forward. That is our major concern, why we haven't moved a little faster with regards to AI.
Right.
It's mainly embedded internally right now for us.
And then just one other point I wanted to touch on is the extreme weather events. I mean, everybody wants all the data centers. The baby wants the TikTok video in the crib. Everybody has all their demands, but there's a big major power outage or just because of some devastating storm. How does that play into kind of your challenges? And does AI help, or does the pressure of the demand that's an impact, as well as trying to pinpoint where all the outages are?
Well, I'll take your question another way. I mean, we were talking about data centers and extreme weather events, and one reason why they're talking to both of us is because if they're having extreme weather where the grid is having issues, we can be the backup.
Right.
Natural gas, right?
Right.
That's why in Western PA that we're so centrally located to be able to provide this need. As far as extreme weather events and natural gas is a little bit different for me for electric, and me coming from a mixed utility before, and seeing how electric kind of navigates that, I was amazed being a gas guy. We're kind of after the event. We're taking stock of what happened. We're trying to see where our system is, and then we're coming in making an assessment. Electric, you need to be, you're ongoing in the battle every hour trying to get customers reconnected, which is kind of different than how you look at it in the gas industry.
Yeah. Kristy?
The thing I would tell you about AI, hyperscaler AI data centers is that they don't address there's no affordability play there for us because they're on the transmission side and they're not in rate. But it does create a opportunity for us to bridge the generation gap that we have in supply. So we are very interested in data centers that are going to bring their own generation. And we actually have some interest in being a net exporter, which is very interesting to us. And that creates an opportunity for us from a reliability opportunity. On the resiliency side, we really need those data centers and that AI technology to help us with simulations, to help us, because we had a storm this year that was derecho that was really tough in our areas. It was not forecasted. So we're very interested in having help from the AI community to help us develop a resiliency plan, and we're working hard at that.
Great. Any parting words of wisdom for the audience?
Keep going.
Keep going, don't stop.
I liked your think big.
Think big. Think.
Go ahead, it's your statement.
No, you can do it.
No.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
You're wading in the pool now, because we're wading in the pool. We're in this shallow end, but we are going hard to that deep end. We want to provide all those benefits to our employees, our customers, and our stakeholders.
So mine is start small, but think big.
Yeah, love that. All right. Well, I just want to mention that the report has so much more information, case studies for gas, water, electricity. It is a really, really great piece. It's one of our most popular pieces every year. Take advantage of our free research. You can get it on our app. You can scan the QR code, or you can get it off of the web, resourcefulness.com, itron.com/resourcefulness. Anyways, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me up here, and I'm sure the audience later will have lots of questions for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really inspired by your feedback.